Hello friends, myself Darshan Kumar Das. Once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel Smart Tech Magics. In this video, I am to test 12 games on my Lenovo ideaPad Gaming 3 laptop, which is having Ryzen 5 4600H processor paired with 4GB GDDR6 GTX 1650Ti graphics and 8GB of RAM. So without any further delay, let's begin. Now the first game that I have tested is CSGO. Here I have played the game at 1080p high settings, as you can see, and at these settings I am getting above 100 FPS, sometimes 120. So yeah, that's it. You can watch the FPS at top left corner.
Through the highways till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Next I have tested GTA 5 and I am playing it at 1080p very high settings, where everything is set to very high except the ambient occlusion, which is set to high at present. So yeah, that's it. I'm getting around 50 to 60 FPS mostly. You can see the FPS at top left corner, and also you can check out the RAM usage as well as the temperature it's reaching while gaming. I mean the CPU temperature, GPU temperature, etc, etc. So yeah, that's the gameplay out here. You can see.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly.
The next game that I have tested is Valorant, and I played this game at 1080p high settings with 4 times MSA and TLAC. And at these settings you can see I am getting approximately 100 FPS on average. On the top left corner you can see the FPS count. So yeah, that's it for this game.
Right up in the sky. I need you to listen.
The next game that I have tested is Rocket League, and I am playing it at 1080p high settings. And at these settings you can see I am getting on an average 100 fps, mostly above 110 it's coming. So yeah, that's it. You can see the fps at top left corner.
Here we go.
The next game that I have tested is Fortnite, and I played it at 1080p epic settings at DirectX 11. Now let me say one thing, I have also tested this game at DirectX 12, but in DirectX 12 the game was repeatedly crashing, so I have decided to test it at DirectX 11. And using DirectX 11 at 1080p epic settings, I am getting around 30 to 40 fps mostly. Sometimes the fps was also reaching below 30 at most intensive area. So yeah, that's it. Now of course, to get 60 plus fps you need to turn down the preset to something like high or medium, and in the performance mode you may also get nearly 100 fps. But with the 1080p epic settings and with DirectX 11 you are getting this what you are seeing now. So yeah, that's it.
Invincible.
The next game that I have tested is Forza Horizon 5. This game I have played at 1080p high settings with 2 times MSA anti-aliasing, and at these settings I am getting above 60 fps mostly. Sometimes the fps was also dropping to 50s. At the busiest city areas I was getting around 45 to 50, and the lowest it reached is 40 fps approximately. So yeah, that's it. You can see the fps at top left corner. Along with that you can also see the RAM usage, GPU temperature, CPU temperature, GPU CPU usage, and etc etc. So yeah, that's the result from this game. The next game that I have tested is eFootball 2022, which was formerly known as PES 2022. This game was tested by keeping the display quality at low, and at this display quality settings I was getting around 55 to 60 FPS. The highest FPS which I got is 60 FPS. I don't know why, because somehow the FPS is locked to 60, so that's why the FPS was not going beyond 60. So basically it was console like experience. In fact, you have to play this game as a console only, because without the controller you can't play PES 2022, I mean eFootball 2022. And at minimum I was getting 25 FPS, which was a very minor shutter lag when I was getting 25 FPS, and on an average I was getting 55 FPS. So yeah, that's it for this game. You can check the FPS at top left corner. The next game that I have tested here is PUBG. This game I have played it at 1080p low settings with DirectX 11, and at these settings I was getting 24 FPS on average, and it was dropping to as low as 2 FPS, and at max it reaches up to 46 FPS. Most of the time I was getting below 30, I mean 20 to 30 FPS, and many a time the FPS dropped to single digit because of some major shutter lags, and I was facing lot of frame drops. But what I feel that it's only because of having 8GB of RAM. For proper PUBG experience you need at least 12GB or 16GB of RAM, then your matter will be solved, what I think. So yeah, by default specs you will get these FPS which you are seeing and this type of experience. Or you can also play this game at 1080p very low settings. Probably with that settings you will not face frame drops that I am facing right now, what you can see. But with default specs and at 1080p low settings you will get these kind of FPS what you are seeing right now. So yeah, that's it. So that's all about the PUBG testing on this Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 with 8GB of RAM. You can check the FPS at top left corner. The next game that I have tested is Control. This game I have played at 1080p medium settings, and with these settings I was getting 32 FPS on average, and at max it was reaching to 52 FPS, and at the lowest it was dropping to as low as 2 FPS. But mostly the FPS is above 30, and it was quite decent experience. And if you buy the RTX 3050 model of this laptop, then you probably would get even far better experience, thereby utilizing the some ray tracing and all, because this game do supports the ray tracing, and using the ray tracing of course you will get far better experience by seeing those ray tracing reflections. So yeah, that's all about the experience of this game with this laptop and with default specs. So that's it. You can check the FPS at top left corner. The gaming experience was quite decent and it's quite playable with this laptop. The next game that I have tested is Red Dead Redemption 2. This game I have tested at 1080p medium settings with graphics API set to Vulkan. Now I have tested this game in two different ways, that is, at first I run the game's built-in benchmark, then I did the actual test by playing the game for over 20 minutes. Result of both the tests were quite close to each other, so let me show you the test results. Now at first I will run the game's built-in benchmark, then I will show you the actual test. So let's start with the game's built-in benchmark at first. So after running the game's built-in benchmark, here are the test results which you can see on the screen. Now I'm going to show you the actual gameplay test. So let's begin with the actual gameplay test.
Stranded in the open, dried out tears of sorrow, lacking all emotion, staring down the barrel, waiting for the final gates to open to a new tomorrow, moving with the motion, following the light that sets me
So after playing the games for over 20 minutes, I got 51 FPS at max, and at minimum it dropped to 7 FPS, and on an average I got 31 FPS. So as you can see, the results are quite close to the benchmarking result. Now on the busy city areas, I got somewhere around 20 to 30 FPS, or sometimes below 20, sometimes 31, 32, or something like that. So yeah, that's all about this game performance. I mean the performance of Red Dead Redemption 2 using this gaming laptop. So that's it. The next game that I have tested is Call of Duty Warzone. This game I have played at 1080p low settings, and at these settings I got 46 FPS at max, and at minimum it dropped to as low as 26 FPS, and on an average I got 35 FPS. Most of the time the FPS was between 30 to 40, sometimes 45, 50, and sometimes it's dropping to 20, 20s, I mean mid 20s, and so on. So yeah, that's it. You can check the FPS at top left corner. The gaming performance was quite good, and you can play this game smoothly with this gaming laptop. So yeah, that's it. The next game that I have tested is Enlisted. This game I have played at 1080p medium settings, and at these settings I got 66 FPS at max, and at minimum it dropped to as low as 5 FPS, although it was only once when I started the game, but rest of the time the FPS was mostly above 20. I mean, it's not reaching to a single digit FPS. Anyways, on an average I got 39 FPS. So you can smoothly play Enlisted with this laptop, and as you can see the gaming experience was quite good. So yeah, that's it. You can check the FPS at bottom left corner. So yeah, that's it. The gaming experience was quite enjoyable, and this game is very similar to that of Battlefield series, and also it's available for free. So to some extent you can also call it as free alternative to Battlefield 5, 2042, etc. So yeah, that's it. Enlisted is quite playable as well as enjoyable with this gaming laptop. So after testing all the 12 games on this laptop, here are the test results which you can see on the screen. And as expected, Rocket League, Valorant and CSGO runs with smoothest gaming experience, as even at 1080p high settings, it was having butter smooth 100 plus FPS on average, then followed by GTA 5 and Forza Horizon 5, which was having smooth 55 plus FPS on average at 1080p high settings. And the worst gaming experience was in PUBG, as even at 1080p low settings it was having below 25 FPS on average, and many a time it was having lots of frame drops and lags, for which the FPS dropped below 10 FPS, making it to be unplayable gaming experience. Now probably by increasing the RAM to 12 or 16 GB would might improve the PUBG gaming experience by a lot, but with the default 8 GB RAM, these are the results that you have seen. Okay, now let's move towards the end part of this video. Should I recommend the Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 laptop having Ryzen 5 4600H with GTX 1650 Ti GPU plus 8GB of RAM to buy it at 62,500 rupees for gaming? And my answer will be yes. But if you are buying it to play games like PUBG, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, God of War, then I would definitely recommend you to upgrade the laptop RAM to 16GB. Then only you can enjoy even those games without any problem. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video and find this video helpful, then please hit the like button. Like target is only 50. Please help me to complete my target. And if you haven't subscribed my channel, then please subscribe it and tap the bell icon beside it. And on the bell icon, select all to watch my latest videos before anyone else. So once again, thanks for watching. See you soon in my next video. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and goodbye.
Till I downfall, my love, if you feel like I do right now.